Hey everyone, welcome back to String Cheese and Applesauce, where today I'm going to share a MOC with you. I'm going to try to do a MOC Mondays series of videos where I show every Monday kind of a MOC of stuff that I've either done or that I'm working on. And today I'm going to show you my Lego trees. So if you've watched any of my Lego City update videos, you may have noticed these trees are the ones that are in my Lego City. They're part of the streetscape, so kind of creating a Lego City that is relatable or kind of realistic looking. I think what's critical is to pay attention to some of the streetscape details to where there's realistic looking trees or lampposts or benches or trash bins, anything that kind of people can relate to as being part of a normal Lego City. So when I was in Brickfest Houston displaying my Lego City, a bulk of the comments that I had from a lot of adult fans of Lego or some of the parents of the kids was, wow, look at those trees, they look so awesome. So I thought I'd share with you today how I accomplished building these trees. So the first thing we need to keep in mind is the techniques that I'm showing you is kind of what I use for all the trees, but they're all kind of unique. And it's typical with trees in general is every single one of them is different, even though there's, like an oak tree looks like an oak tree, but they're all, unique in their own way as far as the way they grow. So I do the same thing when I build these trees. I don't follow like a particular template. I just follow certain building techniques to create the shape of the tree. So if you looked closely at every single one of my trees, they're all different, but the techniques are the same. So that's more or less what we need to pay attention today is really the techniques of how this is built. So I'm going to put these two off to the side, and I had all three just to show you how they're all kind of similar. When they're next to each other, they all kind of look like trees, but they're not the same exactly from start to finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a completed one, and we're more or less going to dissect it, and I'm going to show you kind of how everything went together. So the first thing that's clearly noticeable with these trees is the way that it kind of creates kind of this organic shape. It's not, just these leaf elements just sticking straight out or sticking up and down. That they're flexible or posable more or less. And we're going to go over how that's accomplished along with how I create the limb elements underneath all of this. So starting at the top, if we start to remove these leaf elements, you'll see that there's a stack of 2x2 round bricks, and then there's this bar element that goes through them. So these bars are real critical to the techniques of building these tree elements, because the leaves themselves, if you just attach these two elements together like this, there's typically not a lot of clutch power with those connection points, especially if you put them on these. So if you accidentally bump one, they fall off real easy. So the way to circumvent that is actually putting a bar through them. So this is the number one technique that's used in building any of my trees, is using these bar elements to attach some stuff. So by putting that through there, it more or less tops off the top of the tree. And then you have a bar sticking up, so I just top it off with a few more leaf elements, and that bar disappears. So you can see right now that the structural part that's holding all the leaf elements is more or less hidden by stacking all of these elements on there. And you can see when I bump them, they're not coming off. So it's a very strong construction. So that's how you top off the tree. So now we start to see some of the inside elements. So the bulk of the way that this is constructed is, and this is kind of the secret, is right here. So you can see that you more or less just stack a lot of these arch bricks up, and pull a few of these off so we can see a little bit more closely. We'll get to this detail. Hold on a second. So I start with some some brown slopes, some 2x2 square bricks going all the way up, and then we have these arches. So the arches are going out, so it's kind of creating this organic shape. And then on the inside, you could just fill it up, put some plates and some other stuff in there to help hold it all together. That's great. So the trick to get the organic, and I have a little hair or something right there. Sorry, I was pulling that off. So you can see right here, I use this 1x2 modified plate with the little bar on the end. So what this allows me to do is to actually take this type of connection. So remember how I showed you at the top where we were putting that bar through the leaf elements? So I'm using this little bar with a little clip on the end. I don't know the technical name for it, but this bar element right here, you slide it through one of the leaves, take another one, and this can be any combination of them, and you'll see like on all of my trees, I use all kinds of different combinations of these, but you can basically connect two of them stacked on top of each other into each one of these little bar shapes with a clip. And then the clip itself just clips on to there. And then you can see that gives us a point of articulation where it can be kind of rotated up and down. So that's how all of these elements are able to move. So you can see this one has a clip on it. Clip it on there. This one right here has a clip on it. Clip it on there. Got another one right here, and you can see all the different combinations of clips. Now you'll notice some of them, like this one right here, I don't have anything going through that. And I really need to put something through there to help make this a little bit more sturdy. And what I've done on other trees, you can see this one over here, is I've actually stick one of these stem elements through there. So you see this on the top of carrots sometimes, or in various other ground pieces. So it's basically a bar, using that same technique. I slide it through there, so now it's holding on, and if I hit it, it's not going to fall off. So using that bar through the leaf technique makes these tree elements extremely strong. And you can see when I top it off here with that element that we looked at first, it push this bar up a little bit. It makes a very realistic looking tree. Well, all things considered, I mean, it's a Lego tree. I'm struggling to put this back on. There we go. So that is how I make my Lego trees. So the key thing is the trunk and then all the stems going out. That's kind of up to you to figure out how you want to do that to kind of make it your own tree. I like to use these big arch pieces, and you can see the colors don't really matter as long as they're kind of brownish color, because that's kind of the bulk of the color that you see. Now you notice that I use a lot of these black 1x2 pieces with the little clip area at the end here. The reason I use black is the brown element of that is pretty rare. It's only found in a few sets. And I know the newest creator set with that brick-built moose actually uses a couple of these. But in my personal collection, I really don't have many of that color. But the black itself, it really kind of disappears once you start to put all the leaf elements on there. You can see when I put these on. And then especially if you wrap it on the top with another brown element. Like for example, let me take this one off. You can see right there how the black is just sticking out, but it's completely wrapped around with the brown elements. It really kind of disappears once you start to attach all the foliage and everything else around it. You really don't see much of it anymore. You can see all of this kind of hides it. So there you go. So really, I mean, when I put them in my Lego City, they're they're more or less just there. I mean, they're just, you know, I can kind of just do what I'm doing here. It's just kind of like you do with an artificial Christmas tree. You can just kind of move these leaves around and kind of just make it look a little bit fuller than it really is. And from a distance, it looks great. I mean, when you have all of these kind of lined up, it really does look like a really cool streetscape with trees and everything. So the only flaw that I have with this one is with these 2x2 stacked bricks. They do tend to be pretty weak. Like you can just barely tap them and they'll fall over. It doesn't bother me too much because my Lego City is more or less meant to be a display element and less of a play element. Like kids aren't really playing with a lot. And usually when my kids do play in the Lego City, I just move the trees. I pull them off of the base, and that way they don't knock them over and they can still play with everything. And then when it goes on display, I put all the trees on there. So I have a container with about 8 or 9 of these trees already assembled, and then I just put them wherever I want on the streetscape of the Lego City. There is a way you can make this stronger. You can use a brick that has some studs on the side, and then you can attach a tile to the sides, and that'll more or less hold everything together. But you'll still have a weak point up here where the all of these arches are coming together, because nothing's really holding that together. Although they do have a lot more clutch power than these 2x2 bricks. And then there'll be another weak point down here at the bottom, because you really can't attach anything to there. But there is a way to make the trunk a little bit more stable. I just haven't done it yet, mostly because I just don't leave them in the city when it's being played with. So there you go. There's a MOC tree. So, and you can see on this one I did a little bit different. I put some of these little flower elements on here. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to kind of make your trees unique. And you can see I got some little brown stems at the top to kind of hold all this together. So let me know your thoughts. Put a comment down below. Did you learn any new techniques? Maybe you can make some trees for your Lego City or any other type of outdoor MOC type building you're doing. So let me know. Put a comment down below, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, check out my other videos, and we'll see you next time.